Have you ever felt alone? Maybe you're in a crowd, wanting to connect, but you feel like you can't. Maybe you're lonely in a relationship, a family, a community, or a workplace. Or maybe you only feel lonely when you're by yourself and isolated. If you felt any of these, it turns out you're not alone. 40% of people today say they regularly feel lonely, up from 20% in the 1980s. It's such a problem that the United Kingdom appointed a Minister of Loneliness to combat the sad reality of modern life. It's not that surprising that so many of us feel lonely. When asked in a 2006 study how many confidence people have, the most common answer in the United States was 0. Hi, I'm Peter Montoya from ThriveUnion, and I'll be sharing our current thinking on loneliness, why it's important, why it's detrimental, and how we can overcome it. John Cacioppo, a neuroscientist who studied loneliness for decades, defines loneliness as perceived social isolation, or the discrepancy between what you want from your social relationships and your perception of those relationships. But loneliness can be a useful signal that we need to feed our relationships. Just like hunger tells us we need to feed our body, Cacioppo shares, loneliness is a bit like pain, hunger, and thirst. It protects our social body. Chronic loneliness is harmful, but short-term loneliness can be positive and necessary because it highlights the need for social connections. How harmful is chronic loneliness? Studies show its health impact is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, alcoholism, or obesity. Loneliness is associated with depression and restless sleep. It reinforces itself by making us hypervigilant and defensive toward the very people we should be bonding with. It can even be contagious and impact your genes. Why is loneliness on the rise? One contender is changing technology, especially social media. Cacioppo writes, many of those face-to-face connections have been replaced with social networking. We've found that if you use social networking as a way to promote face-to-face conversation, it lowers loneliness. But if you use it as a destination, as a replacement for face-to-face, it increases loneliness. Binge watching and excessive internet use also adds to loneliness, as do cell phones, video games, and other forms of entertainment. Even cars have played a role, eliminating running into friends and sharing spontaneous adventures. The media spews out constant negativity, lowering our trust and making us fear others. It drives us apart or into silos of isolated outrage, where we learn to treat fellow human beings like their enemies. Finally, our emphasis on self-reliance and individualism has pushed us to create our own private castles, complete with protective walls and moats. Our wealth allows us to shut ourselves in, hoarding our treasures and ignoring others' needs. We're taught we shouldn't need anyone and that loneliness is weakness instead of a signal to change. These technologies and beliefs provide numerous advantages, but they also help drive the loneliness epidemic. However, we can keep the benefits they offer and minimize our loneliness. We do that by investing in regular face-to-face interactions and intentionally building communities. A subject so important, we made a separate video about it. Powerful relationships are the number one factor in determining health, longevity, and happiness, according to a Harvard study 80 years in the making. Only by investing in these relationships can we beat the negative consequences of loneliness. Even a great therapist can't alleviate our loneliness. As Cacioppo relates, one of the things we have learned is that avoiding loneliness is not about getting. It's not about being a recipient. We need mutual aided protection. If you are only receiving aid and protection from others, that doesn't satisfy this deeper sense of belonging. Being a client of a psychotherapist fulfills some needs, but doesn't fulfill the real need to have a rich reciprocal bond. We must contribute as well if we want to thrive. Loneliness undermines a thriving life, signaling our need to find meaningful relationships or fix current ones. For more discussion and exercises on loneliness, visit our website or the resources in the video description below.
ThriveUnion is a real-world community and life school dedicated to human well-being. Our regular events include parties, game nights, supper clubs, hikes, and Thrive meetings to build deep levels of intimacy, empower us to grow, and improve our world. Our life school provides educational videos, articles, conferences, and educational courses. Visit our website at thriveunion.org to learn more.